Welcome back. It's me, Ufgood, and today I did do some actual work. But what I did was I went through, started going through this tutorial. And this is the infamous, or famous, I guess it's not infamous, it's the famous Blender beginner tutorial, donut tutorial that Andrew Price, aka Blender Guru, has updated for Blender 2.8. Okay, before I do anything here, let's... Oh, that's not what I wanted anyways. I don't want that either. There we go. Let's switch back. There we go. Okay. So, I'm not going to be showing you that. Actually, this is, of course, so far, my donut. Oh, right, because I'm big head. Okay, so, all right. I guess I could just do. Let's go back in here real quick. This donut with sprinkles on it, and this is updated for 2.8. And of course, I need to actually go through. Let's do this. I mean, I still have stuff I need to learn and stuff with regards to Blender. So, it's true to my original plan. So actually, this isn't going to matter because I think it's just going to go ahead and... I'm going to show you how I learn Blender and various other things. So let's go ahead and pull up the video here. Game Dev Update 578. Alright. Should have no audio. Actually, what I want to do is... Okay, that should do it. That should be fine. Okay, so basically, we'll start here. I created a new folder for my learning stuff, and so I'll be saving, like, you know, the blend files for that. The test renders and test blends, that was for my actual work. This is for my learning stuff. In any case, let's speed this sucker up. In fact, I'm going to have to chunk a bunch of this out because of what I was doing here. So let's just go ahead and go to... And yeah. And let's actually get up to... Oh, yeah. I'd started to play some 80s music, or, you know, 80s sounding synthwave, whatever, and because I was thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna be working on something, but then I remembered that I'm actually going to be needing to listen to what Andrew Price is saying in the video, so I decided to turn that back off, and there's my desktop amidst my desktop. So here, let's kind of mop it up a little bit. Okay, so at this point, I've started the video, and I noticed that the keys, you know, weren't showing up, and especially if I'm telling you how I'm doing it. I'm sure many of you probably already know how to use Blender, but if you don't, you know, use G to grab, which is basically to move anywhere, and you know, there's the various dealies. There's move, and there's rotate, and there's scale on there, and here, I guess I can zoom in here real quick. And then I turned J&M's shortcut.vur add-on that displays the, you know, your mouse clicks and your buttons. And one thing I wasn't noticing, if you notice there, with that little white line here, let's see if we can back that up here. Where is it at? There. See that little white line there? That's holding down the Alt key. And this little white line, you can get your object to move on a specific axis. So it's essentially a snap to a specific axis, so you can it's easier to move where you want it, which I hadn't known about, which might become useful in the near future. And then here I'm starting to go into the add-ons, shortcut VUR. I think I disabled this here, just because there's some things not shown up, and so this is unimportant. So I started looking up ways to be able to display like keys and stuff on screen. And this OSD thing was pretty good, and then there's screencast keys. For some reason, it also didn't do what like scroll wheel and stuff. So, or what it didn't do was, what happens is I would hit G, and then to change axes that you can move on, so you can lock it to a specific axis, you hit X, Y, or Z, or Z, X, Y, and Z, and it snaps to the particular axis, and but it wasn't showing it. And then when I finally found this one actually showed it. You can see in here, I know it's really fast, but you see where it says left mouse button, and when I hit X and Y, even when grabbing and stuff, it shows that all the keys. And this one works pretty well. The only problem with this one was that, I'm not sure if I'll probably just keep on using it until either I hear back from an email I wrote to the, to the developer. But basically, it still doesn't show you the scroll wheel. But when I went into its settings, it has a keys, or it's got a key list basically of the keys that it shows up, and it has a wheel up and wheel down. The only problem is wheel up and wheel down isn't really working, so I left a message. But for the most part, I used it. Okay, and that took me like half an hour or more to mess around with that. Now see if you can, well, like I said, it's pretty quick here, but you press the button, you rotate X, Y, and Z, you can see it popping up in here, and that's just your basic, how to get around in Blender. I would recommend that you actually go ahead and go through the tutorial, as I'm not really trying to make a tutorial or show you how to follow a tutorial. I mean, obviously that's pretty simple. You just you load up the video, you watch it, and preferably you have a second monitor. But if you don't, you put it in a separate window, and you put it in a smaller window. And so it's just basically giving a rundown of the different interface things. Scroll wheel to zoom. So yeah. Middle mouse button will rotate around, and then here you can, if you hit the numpad, like numpad dot, it'll actually focus in on the thing. The various numpads represent, of course, your different views. So like 7 is like, I think, top down, and then like 1 is like from the right side or something, and then if you put F3, you come up the search bar, which you can type in any command to see what the command is, and you can click on these little doohickeys in this gizmo to switch between views. This hand is to pan around the scene, so you click on it and then you move your mouse and it pans. This same thing with the zoom, and then this is camera mode, and then this is, I forget what this is, but anyways, so you see me starting to make a donut here. Of course, you add an object to your scene, which will appear at the cursor. That little red and white striped circle. That's your 3D cursor, and so whatever you add will appear there. So I hit Shift A, and this is trying to find the size of a donut because Andrew Price is working in metric because that's what he uses in Australia, and of course I'm set up for imperial measurements because that's kind of what I know, and instead of trying to change the unit back to metric, I decided just to go ahead and figure out the size, and so I did what I thought the size should be, which is about 3.5 inches, and then I just kind of eyeballed the minor radius, how fat it is. And then, like, this actually puts more doing the segments puts more vertices, more triangles on this thing. And of course, with Blender, you use something that's called a modifier, which is over here, and you can actually the one thing you can do is you can do smooth shading, which I guess affects how it renders. It doesn't actually change the actual geometry of the object. It just renders it smoothly. And then this is just showing the what am I doing here? I'm just grabbing vertices. Oh, it's showing proportional editing, and for a while there I couldn't figure out how to affect. You can set the radius of where the proportional editing affects by using the scroll wheel. So like you hit grab, and then if proportional editing is on, you do the scroll wheel and it makes that little circle zoom in, and it affects how much of the whole object is affected. See, only part of the object is affected that's within the circle. And then what else was I going to say? That's just because it's proportional editing, which means everything gets taken with it. And but I couldn't figure it out, and then somebody told me that I can use a page up and a page down to I'm actually typing something into IRC there, I think, and that's why it's showing up there. But to change that little area, what I don't know what you call it, but the little circle that describes the area that's affected on the donut or on the mesh, you can use page up and page down for instead of the scroll wheel or the mouse wheel. Okay, so I did that. See, I'm using page up and page down. You can kind of see that up here in the thing there. Okay, so we're just trying to make it a little bit like lumpy, a little bit uneven, so it's not like a perfect donut. And then here's the smooth shading on. Like I said, it doesn't affect the geometry. It's just and then we got the, what is it, subsurface? I forget which modifier that is. Actually, let's see if I can go back to where you added. What did I add? A subdivision surface. Okay, and so that will actually smooth out. That actually smooths out your geometry a bit. Okay. And then this was just kept on popping up, and I when I hit Alt Z, because with Alt Z you can, how does that work? Alt Z like locks, I don't know, it snaps or something. I forget now what Alt Z does. But Alt Z was trying to pull up my GeForce Experience thing, which is annoying, and I was trying to figure out how to disable it. I was thinking about possibly uninstalling it, which I still might do because it's annoying. I don't want the stupid overlays. They kind of mess things up anyways. Okay, so after that, so here we're just selecting part of the donut, which will be later be the icing, and then we add a couple modifiers on it, solidify, that actually makes it like a solid object, and then we subdivide the deals, and now I'm making the edge here um, on the donut where the icing actually is. It actually made a duplicate with the shifty of the top there, and then made it into its own object by hitting P and then selecting from selected, which gave it its own deal. And then this little solidification modifier gave it some substance, so it's not just flat surfaces. It made it a solid like object. And then here I am manipulating the vertices, making sure it keeps snapped close to the surface. And I think there's a couple of places in there where I kind of pitted in the donut, and so some of these still seem to intersect. But when I get done with by the end of it, it still looks pretty good. And so basically we used proportional editing. We just dragged it down, and then the next thing you do, you select two vertices, and then you extrude them, and so then they kind of make the dripping part. Of course, I did a little. See, if you notice that part of that's intersecting there, which is something we don't want, and so I kind of kept messing with it until it worked right the way I wanted it to. So you can see there, I got some donut stuff here. Anyways, yeah. So that's about how far I got. This is just looking at. You can tell it says wheel up and wheel down, but for some reason it doesn't display in the little window. So I don't know what's up with that. In any case, over the next couple of days, I'll be continuing on until I'm done, or until I'm not sure if he's actually completely finished with all of them, but I'll be messing with part 5 next, and so yeah, so that's about it. That's pretty much what I did today, and I do still need to learn stuff. I still will need to go through some like drawing exercises and things. Drawing is a little bit different because I automatically know, learning Blender is kind of this complex deal where you have like different keys and different things you have to do. With drawing, all I have to do is, get my pencil and paper and I can start drawing. Even when I'm using Blender as, grease pencil, or when I'm using a program to paint with, it's pretty much start the program and then use my tablet and draw on it. So in that respect, drawing is easier and quicker. So with drawing, I don't actually have to go. That doesn't mean I don't have to learn the fundamentals and stuff like that. But I can just get something up and started. I can mess around and I can draw stuff. Whereas with this Blender stuff, I have to learn an awful lot of stuff before I am up to that level where I can just turn it on and like just do stuff. So maybe be seeing less of me doing learning drawing through like lessons and stuff, and more of me just actually drawing what it is I'm gonna try to put in my game. So I want to say if you like this, of course, all the normal stuff, right? Like, share, subscribe, comment. Very much like to see comments. I don't get many views. I get like 3 or 4 views per video mostly, and which is kind of weird because I've been on for a while. I'm up to 578 here. When I was doing like 8 videos a day, I got up to 500 and something. So even though I'm not doing as many videos, I'm still up, to 600 or whatever. So I still don't understand why I'm not really getting views, except other than the fact that my videos aren't that great, which is understandable. But I should at least be getting, double digit, right? Should be at least getting 10 or more views. Maybe not as many as 100. Maybe not as many as 50, but maybe 10, 15 maybe, or something. Anyways, so yeah. So that's about it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video, which will be on Tuesday. For me, it's no, the next video will be Wednesday. For me, it's Saturday the 21st. When you watch this video, it'll be Tuesday the 24th, and then I'll see you tomorrow. For you, it's tomorrow. For me, it's 4 days from now. I'll see you on Wednesday, the 25th. So stay tuned.